And what about the moratorium? Luhut affirms hotel villa moratorium in Bali is being processed still. And 500 coral reefs planted in Sanur, protecting and increasing marine tourism potential for coastal residents. Stay tuned for details on these and other stories. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is September 21st, 2024, and my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like today for September 21st? Well, the weather up here in Kampung Bugis is lovely. It's very windy, however, so there's a lot of dust flying around here. But other parts of Bali, there is rain, from what my children tell me, down in the south, and there was reports the other day in Karangasem. I don't know if it's still raining down there. But as you probably know, if you've been here many times, the weather is changing constantly. And from one part of Bali to the other, there are different subclimates or microclimates. And at one time, several years ago, I read an article by the Meteorology Agency that said that there were 28 microclimates in Bali. Wow. So, good weather here, and I hope the weather is good wherever you are on the island. And if you're not here, well, I hope it's good wherever you are around the world. So, let's get into it. Luhut affirms hotel villa moratorium in Bali is being processed. The coordinating minister for maritime affairs and investment, Pak Luhut, emphasized that the moratorium or temporary halt to hotel construction in Bali is not just a discourse. The regulation regarding the moratorium is in process, he said. We are in process. It is underway now. Later, you will hear the results, said Pak Luhut. However, Pak Luhut did not reveal anything regarding the implementation of the limited meeting on the hotel moratorium as previously stated. Be patient, he said. Everything has its time. Previously, Luhut emphasized his rejection of land conversion in Bali. That's another issue. According to him, land conversion is not allowed at all. Luhut stated that the moratorium could last for 5 or 10 years, depending on the evaluation. The moratorium plan originated from a letter from the acting governor of Bali to the central government regarding a moratorium on hotel or villa construction in the southern Bali area, and he hopes that there will be a licensing arrangement to prevent massive accommodation construction on the island of the gods. According to the acting governor, South Bali is not only facing a problem of land conversion due to the onslaught of development, the rampant crime or criminality also needs attention. Rampant crime and criminality, wow. So we just continued to wait for the information on the moratorium, and there was a meeting last week, and well, things are going slow with that. Maybe they're being sure on how they're going to word this. But the question then becomes, what about implementation? Because a lot of laws come into effect in Indonesia, and implementation is not always there. So we'll just have to wait and see, as I've said for many, many years now. And what about coral reefs? 500 coral reefs planted in Sanur, protecting and increasing marine tourism potential for coastal residents. Indonesian Infrastructure Finance, IIF, in collaboration with Rumah Coral Indonesia, planted 500 coral reefs on Sanur Beach on Friday, yesterday. The restoration was carried out because the condition of the coral reefs was increasingly damaged by climate change and human activities. IIF Chief Financial Officer said this initiative is part of the company's commitment to contribute to environmental preservation. The planting of coral reefs is a commitment to maintaining the marine ecosystem and supporting sustainable development, he said. This activity not only focuses on the ecological aspects, but also aims to provide a positive impact on the coastal community of Sanur through increasing the potential of marine tourism. We hope that this effort can also encourage the tourism sector in Sanur, which will ultimately have an impact on the welfare of the surrounding community, he said. IIF, he added, has implemented the environmental, social, and governance principles in various projects. Until 2024, they've had 69 infrastructure projects in 14 provinces with a total investment of 7.6 trillion rupiah. This includes clean energy, social impact, and environmental friendly business activities. He explained that the coral reef transplantation is part of the company's strategy to realize development that is in harmony with environmental conservation. In addition to coral reef transplantation, throughout 2024, IIF has carried out a number of CSR activities, including helping earthquake survivors, environmental empowerment program in the Sarayu River Basin. And with these various initiatives, IIF hopes to continue to contribute to achieving sustainable development goals in Indonesia. One of the things that Indonesia has been working on is going green with electric vehicles, and we have some coming to Ubud. Realizing low emission area, Peliatan Village, Ubud launches electric vehicle battery charging station. There aren't that many around, I don't think. To strengthen the commitment of all parties in efforts to reduce carbon emissions and a cleaner and healthier environment, Peliatan Ubud, the Bali Coalition for Net Zero Energy, represented by the World Resources Institute in Indonesia, the Bali Provincial Government, and the Gianyar Regency Government, agreed to the declaration towards the Ubud low emissions area and launched the electric vehicle battery charging station as one form of real step towards integrating clean energy in the Ubud area. This took place last week and was attended by a number of important officials. The declaration towards the Ubud low emission area shows the importance of collaboration between all parties in an effort to reduce carbon emissions in Bali province, said the head of Bali Province ESDM and Manpower Office. The launch of the solar panel installation connected to the EV charging station at the Peliatan Market in Ubud is an effort by the government, community, and development partners such as Bali Coalition for Clean Zero Energy to answer the need for more charging stations that use renewable energy resources. The declaration towards a low-emission area in Ubud contains 7 steps that will be taken by related parties in Gianyar Regency, especially in Ubud, to reduce carbon emissions and create a cleaner and healthier environment, namely 1. Emission reduction, 2. Renewable energy promotion, 3. Sustainable transportation, 4. Sustainable waste management, 5. Education and awareness, 6. Collaboration and support, and finally, monitoring and evaluation. We hope that the steps taken by Peliatan Ubud Village and the support provided by the Regency government can make Ubud a low emissions area and a good example for other areas in Bali and throughout Indonesia. The installation of solar panels connected to the EV charging station will be managed by a village-owned enterprise, and the income generated will be used for facility management and other things, according to the village head of Peliatan. WRI Indonesia, together with development partners who are members of the Bali Net Zero Mission Coalition, support the joint commitment of the Ubud community in realizing a low-emission area by providing solar panel facilities and EV charging stations, as well as a business model that will be implemented to manage these facilities, which is expected to be implemented in other villages in Bali in the future. And so if you have an electric vehicle, you're going to have a charging station if you're down in the Ubud area. And how about some little futurology? Flying taxi made by PTDI will first take to the air in Bali in 2028. Another 4 years, we're going to have flying taxis. Wow. Many original Indonesian air vehicle products were exhibited at the 2024 Bali International Air Show, which has been going on in the south. One of the products is a small aircraft called Velo Alpha, which will be the first flying taxi in Bali. Yes, this is Velo Alpha. Sometimes people call it a flying car taxi. The first target to enter that market, which we know is Bali, according to the business manager of PTDI. The flying taxi has a number of features that are rare on conventional aircrafts. The flying vehicle is powered by electricity with batteries. In addition to being electric, it will also be produced in a hybrid version. For the electric version, it will be capable of flying 100 kilometers. The hybrid can reach a distance of 500 kilometers. Another feature, in addition to the distance, is 5 propellers. So this vehicle is going to have 4 propellers on the left and right wings facing upwards, and 1 propeller is on the tip of the tail facing backwards. With such a shape, it allows it to take off vertically like a helicopter. Then the control system in the cockpit is more automated than a helicopter. Licensed helicopter pilots will need to fly this. The plan is for daily public transportation, like flying taxis, which later can be ordered online. The flying taxi will target two segments, the public transportation segment and tourism. For the public transportation segment, it will be available to order online with a ticket price of around $400,000 per person. Meanwhile, the tourism segment, the fare is going to be more expensive. After Bali, the flying taxi with a capacity of 4 to 6 passengers plus one pilot will target other big cities that are prone to congestion here in Indonesia. Why Bali? Because this will be an experience to use new technology. After that, we'll be targeting densely populated cities like Jakarta and probably Surabaya. Currently, there is only one Vela unit with a size of 1 to 3 displayed at the Bali International Air Show. The mini product has been tested and successfully flown. What about the big one? This product was initiated by PT Vela Prima Nusantara in 2020 and collaboration with PTDI in 2023. The prototype will only be produced in 2 units in 2027. It will be mass-produced and make its first flight in Bali in 2028. When released to the market, the price will be $2.7 million US dollars. So, I guess I won't be buying one. What about you? One of the things that Bali is known for is harmony between the various religious groups that exist here. And what about here, up in Buleleng, present in Pegayaman Village, Supriatna plans religious and cultural tourism. Present directly in Pegayaman Village in Sukasada, here in Buleleng, in the celebration of the Prophet Muhammad's birthday, the prospective candidate for Deputy Region of Buleleng sees a great opportunity to develop the village, especially in the field of religious and cultural tourism. According to him, Pegayaman Village is known as the village with the largest Muslim population in Buleleng. However, this village is able to maintain the values of tolerance and acculturation of Balinese culture in the lives of the villagers. So based on this, he was increasingly moved to design the development of a religious and cultural tourism area there. In addition to the warm welcome from the friendly residents, made him comfortable and happy to chat for a long time while enjoying the cultural parade for the celebrations of the Prophet's birthday. The importance of maintaining and preserving traditions and the uniqueness of local culture as valuable assets that should be preserved, as well as the tolerance between people, led me to make a plan to have a program for cultural tourism in the village. This is a valuable opportunity to get to know the traditions and culture in this village better, he said. Supriatna explained the plan to develop Pegayaman Village as a religious and cultural tourism destination is because it has great potential to become one of the religious and cultural tourism attractions in Buleleng. With the rich history we have, especially as part of the troops of the king of Buleleng, former king, the legendary king, Panji Sakti, we need to maintain and develop this potential. Moreover, the plan to develop religious tourism is supported by the existence of the Supriatna Tower. I don't know how that works, which will be a tourism icon built by the former governor, Pak Luhut. So the tower is going to be hooked up with the religious tourism in Pegayaman Village. Talking about the tower, this is not just a television tower, but it will become a separate tourism destination in Buleleng. Will coordinate with local government to ensure that the Pegayaman community benefits from this development. And a fascinating book by a legendary anthropologist focused on Pegayaman, and this was back in the late 80s. And the book, called Balinese Worlds, you may be able to buy it down at the bookstore in Ubud, Ganesha Bookstore. Well worth reading if you're interested in some excellent research on Indonesia and especially on Bali. And we're going to be getting some more direct flights from Russia. Direct Moscow-Bali flights boost Russia-Indonesia bilateral cooperation. The first direct flight from Indonesia to Russia on the Moscow-Denpasar-Bali route was officially launched in Moscow on Tuesday. The flight marked an important milestone in strengthening ties between Russia and Indonesia, after flights had been suspended for nearly 4 years because of the pandemic. Deputy head of the Indonesian embassy in Moscow and the deputy director of Airfloat were present at the inaugural farewell. The resumption of direct flights is not only opening a new route, but also symbolizes a deeper commitment to improving connectivity and economic relations between the two countries. This route, he said, is a long-awaited route for Russia. Indonesia, especially Bali, of course, is the most popular destination for Russians today. Since we've launched this new route, we've seen a 90% increase in demand for Bali. Just what we need, more tourists. The Moscow-Denpasar flight will operate twice a week and has the potential to increase to 3 times. According to BPS, the statistics agency, in the period January to July 2024, the number of Russian tourist visits reached 100,000 people, well, 97,994. With direct flights, the number of foreign tourists from Russia is predicted to increase significantly. Indonesia is one of the favorite destinations for Russian citizens in Southeast Asia region. Despite the absence of direct flights in 2023, the number of visits by Russian citizens was 161,000, an increase of 117% year on year. Meanwhile, in 2022, the number of Russian foreign tourists was recorded at 74,143, an increase of 783.5% from the pandemic period. And for those of you who are interested in the future of Indonesia economically, there was an excellent news story done by a German team, and there is a link down below that you can access this. And well, it's about, I don't know, half an hour or so, but it's really good and talks about where Indonesia expects to be in the future by 2045, which will be the 100th anniversary of Indonesia's independence. And Indonesia expects to be a developed nation status by that time. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, it's an excellent program, very interesting, and a lot of interviews with some important players in the Indonesian economic sphere. And that is it for today. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Always be kind to someone. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.